Chess with the Devil, a schematic glossary of narcissism and sociopathy. Intro. In today's chaotic, complicated world, it can be frustrating mastering both the vagaries of not only minor annoyances and inconveniences, but especially when running the exhaustive gauntlets of microaggressions and schemes being employed by psycho-pathological individuals of every spectrum. However, there is hope. Applying the ancient wisdom of Sun Tzu, culled from his work, The Art of War, knowing our enemy is more than half the battle. Or to keep in line with the metaphorical semantics of this book, is half the tournament. Hence, let us begin. Whites advance. Chess with the Devil, a schematic glossary of narcissism and sociopathy. Terms 1 and 2. Absolute pin. In the game of narcissistic chess, an absolute pin occurs when your king moral code would be placed in check should you attempt to move out of their line of attack. Therefore, the only option is to be coerced into further engagement due to other imperatives which pin you to their thrall. Relative pin. In the game of narcissistic chess, a relative pin occurs when your king moral code will not be placed in danger of checkmate should you move out of their line of attack. In such scenarios, strategic maneuvers towards disengagement are not only legal, but imperative. Chess with the Devil, a schematic glossary of narcissism and sociopathy. Terms 3 and 4. Active. In the game of narcissistic chess, the number of active pieces will always appear more formidable than it is. The key strategy is, as always, to proceed with discernment, stealth, and caution. Passive. In the game of narcissistic chess, the number of passive pieces is always greater than the active pieces. Opponents must seek to increase passive pieces and disempower active pieces through a careful study of said opponents' tactics and weaknesses. Chess with the Devil, a schematic glossary of narcissism and sociopathy. Terms 5 and 6. Advanced pawn. In the game of narcissistic chess, if the opponent's pawn is on your side of the board, advance so that said pawn cannot become strong and limit your mobility. If your pawn is advanced on the opponent's side of the board, maneuver in order to prevent said opponent from creating a strategy of overextension via isolation tactics in order to weaken your pawn. Advanced passed pawn. In the game of narcissistic chess, once you have positioned yourself through adept maneuverings to the advanced passed pawn position, where no pieces of the opponent are on your file or on an adjacent file to challenge you, you are in line for promotion. Enjoy your queening. You are now the most powerful piece on the board. Chess with the Devil, a schematic glossary of narcissism and sociopathy. Term 7. Alekine's gun. In the game of narcissistic chess, the opponent will attempt to position their queen, manipulation and gaslighting tactics, to back up two rooks, fear and obligation, on a file. Do not be swayed by this special form of battery. Depending upon how your pieces are positioned, there are offensive maneuvers that can be employed. A bold tactic is the four pawns attack. By pushing your pawns, gray rock, boundaries, self-respect, and self-worth towards the center of the board, you can dominate and keep in check the counterplay of the opponent. This tactic also affords white tactical adaptability and resiliency in the face of the opponent's alternating counterattacks, blame shifting, guilt tripping, gaslighting, projection, etc. Chess with the Devil, a schematic glossary of narcissism and sociopathy. Term 8. Algebraic notation. In the game of narcissistic chess, learning how to record the moves of our opponent helps us to develop our own game, both offensively and defensively. The algebraic notation of playing chess with the devils of this world involves intensive study into the realms of criminal psychology, body language, paralinguistics, and various therapeutic modalities. Knowing both the skill level and the play patterns of our opponent gives us an advantage. Moreover, it is wise to reach a level of mastery before directly engaging in any play with pathological challengers. In the case of indirect facilitation, whereby a pathological challenger attempts to draw you into a game with them, the gray rock, low to no contact tactics are fair game and also strongly advised. Chess with the Devil, a schematic glossary of narcissism and sociopathy. Term 9. Adjournment. In the game of narcissistic chess, the opponent may adjourn with the intention of finishing you off later. But in such instances, a no-contact draw is the best move. Honor intact. Chess with the Devil, a schematic glossary of narcissism and sociopathy. Term 10. Analysis. In the game of narcissistic chess, mastery is obtained only during a post-mortem, whereby all mates, blunders, and captures can be examined and noted. Only after we have been fully engaged with and checked by our opponent can we learn to maneuver safely and skillfully across the socio-political chessboard of life's grand tournament.